I still remember the moment she walked out of the bathroom, holding that plastic stick like it was a treasure map. Her eyes were wide, glistening, not with fear, but something like surprise, maybe even guilt. But I was too blinded by the word pregnant printed across the screen to notice. We'd been trying for months, tracking ovulation, cutting out caffeine. She even started meditating, something she used to roll her eyes at. So that morning when she showed me the test, I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because the relief hit me like a wave I didn't expect. I hugged her, tight, maybe too tight. "You okay?" I whispered. She nodded, but her smile never quite reached her eyes. We called her Mom first, then mine. Both cried. Her sister sent baby clothes on Amazon before the end of the day. I didn't notice she never looked me in the eye when she said, "We're going to be parents." 8 weeks in, we went for the first ultrasound. I was buzzing with nerves, my leg bouncing in the waiting room like I was preparing for a job interview. She sat there, calm, too calm. When the doctor walked in, he greeted us with a practiced smile, then turned the screen toward us. "There it is," he said, pointing to a grainy, flickering shape. "Heartbeats strong." I reached for her hand. She let me, but didn't squeeze back. The doctor looked between us and cleared his throat. "According to the measurements, conception likely occurred around 62 days ago." I froze. I know that number like I know my own name, because 62 days ago, I was 2,000 miles away at a training seminar in Denver. 3 days. I remembered it because I hated every second away from her. When I glanced at her, she was staring straight ahead, like she hadn't heard what he said. "Is that accurate?" I asked the doctor. He shrugged. "Could be a few days off, but not by much." I looked at her again. Nothing. No flinch, no tension, just silence. Something inside me went cold. But I smiled, nodded, thanked the doctor, because I wasn't ready, not yet, to believe what my gut had just started screaming. After the appointment, I suggested we get lunch. "Celebrate," I said. She agreed, but barely touched her food, said she wasn't feeling well, blamed the pregnancy. But I started noticing other things. She kept her phone face down, started leaving the room to take calls. Her messages suddenly had passcodes. When I asked what she was up to, she smiled and said, "Just baby stuff." I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. But I couldn't stop thinking about that date. So I did something I never thought I would. One night, when she was in the shower, I checked her calendar. She was always meticulous about scheduling. Work, doctor's visits, even girls' nights. And there it was. The weekend I was away in Denver. A red heart emoji on a Friday night. No name, no details, just a heart. I felt like I'd swallowed glass. I didn't confront her, not yet. I needed more. I told myself I was protecting myself, that I wasn't going to accuse her until I knew for sure. But deep down, I think I already knew. A week later, I was at the hardware store grabbing supplies for the nursery shelves I promised to install. While I was checking out, I noticed a small display stand by the register. DNA test kits. It felt like fate was daring me. I stood there for a moment, hands trembling. Then I grabbed one, told myself it was just to put my mind at ease. I waited until she went out for brunch with her friends the next weekend. I had the test done in the quiet of our bathroom, the swab shaking slightly in my hand. 2 days later, the results arrived in my inbox. I stared at the subject line for 10 minutes before I opened it. Probability of paternity, 0%. 0. Nothing. I felt like the floor had given out beneath me. I just sat there, in the dark, the cursor blinking on the screen, over and over again like a countdown. I thought of the nursery upstairs, the stuffed giraffe she'd insisted on, the walls I'd painted sky blue, all of it, a lie. And I still hadn't told her I knew. I waited until after dinner that night. She was humming in the kitchen, loading the dishwasher, wearing the world's best mom sweatshirt her sister had given her last week. I asked her to sit down. She smiled, confused. Everything okay? I didn't answer right away. I pulled out my phone and opened the DNA results. I turned the screen toward her, slowly. At first, she stared blankly. Then her eyes scanned the words. Her face went pale. She didn't say anything. "Do you want to tell me what's going on?" I asked. My voice was calm, too calm, like I was trying to keep myself from unraveling. She swallowed hard. "It doesn't change anything." I blinked. "Doesn't change anything?" "I love you," she said, her voice cracking. "We're having a baby. That's what matters." "But it's not my baby," I said, almost whispering. Silence. Then, after what felt like forever, she confessed. The affair had lasted 3 months. It ended before she got pregnant. At least, that's what she claimed. She thought she could bury it, pretend it never happened, hope the baby was mine. But it wasn't, and she knew. After her confession, I stood up and walked out of the room. I didn't slam the door, I didn't scream. I just left. I needed air. I needed silence. I drove around for an hour, maybe 2, parked in front of the high school football field and stared at the empty bleachers. Everything we had built together, every dream, every plan, felt like a lie. When I got home, she was sitting on the stairs, crying. "Please," she said, "don't leave me." "I don't know what to do," I told her. "We can get through this," she whispered. "Couples survive worse. We can go to therapy. We can raise this child together." "But it's not mine," I said again. "You looked me in the eyes and told me it was. You let me dream about names. You let me imagine our future." She reached out to grab my hand, but I pulled away. "I still want you," she said. "I made a mistake, one mistake." But it wasn't one mistake. It was a choice, a series of choices, and I couldn't pretend otherwise. A few days later, she scheduled the paternity test. It wasn't for her, it was for me. I needed the truth written in ink, sealed in an envelope, something I could hold in my hand when my heart didn't know what to believe. We waited 3 days for the results. I didn't speak much during that time. I slept on the couch. She cried herself to sleep in the bedroom. It was like living with a stranger who still had your wife's face. When the envelope came, I didn't open it right away. I stared at it for hours, but deep down, I already knew. The test confirmed it. I wasn't the father. But what shook me even more was the name listed under likely biological match. It was someone I knew. Her ex. The one she had claimed was just a mistake. The one she swore she hadn't seen since we got married. I confronted her. She didn't deny it. I was lonely, she said. It was just one night. I didn't even think. But she had thought. She had thought enough to lie to me for months. Enough to let me believe we were building a family when she was hiding someone else's child inside her body. After everything, she still wanted us to work it out. I made a mistake, she pleaded. But this baby still needs a father, and I want it to be you. She was crying, reaching for my hand like that would make it all disappear. Like I could just forget the betrayal, the lies, the months of pretending. I told her the truth. I don't think I can raise this child, not when I know he isn't mine. She broke down, accused me of being cold, said I was abandoning her when she needed me most. But how could I give my heart to something built on deception? I wasn't angry anymore, just hollow. I didn't scream, I didn't cry. I just stood there, feeling the weight of everything I thought we were crumble at my feet. That night, I packed a bag, left my house, our house, and drove to my brother's. When he opened the door, he didn't say anything, just hugged me. I hadn't realized how much I needed that. Living with my brother gave me space to think. At first, I felt like a failure, like I'd been foolish for trusting so deeply, for wanting something so badly that I ignored the signs. But over time, I stopped blaming myself. I started going for long walks, cooking again, sleeping without nightmares. I spoke with a therapist. For the first time, I let someone help me untangle everything I'd buried inside. My ex kept trying to reach out. She sent messages, photos from doctor's visits, even offered to name the baby after me. I didn't respond. Some days, the silence was heavier than the words I could have said. Other days, it felt like freedom. I wasn't ready to forgive, but I was ready to move on. It came in the mail. No return address, just my name, written in her handwriting. Inside was a photo. A newborn wrapped in a hospital blanket, eyes closed, tiny fists clenched. There was a letter, too, short. He was born healthy. I named him Elijah. I know I broke something in you that I can never fix. You were right to walk away. I just wanted you to know that I never stopped loving you, even if I didn't deserve to. I sat there, staring at it for a long time, not crying, not angry, just still. I folded the letter and put it away, not because I wanted to forget, but because some things don't need to be answered. They just need to be left behind. I wish her well. I wish the baby well. I hope they both find peace, the kind I had to rebuild from the ashes. As for me, I'm still standing, still healing, still choosing myself, one quiet day at a time.